Hey guys, this week's video is dedicated to all our brothers and sisters in the land of Israel. In this week's Torah portion, Parsha Vayakhel, we have Moshe gathering the entire Jewish people, and this week and next week he's going to be giving them and reviewing all the details of the tabernacle, reviewing how it was built and everything that was used, etc. But he first begins by telling them the mitzvah of Shabbos, and he does so by saying, for 6 days you can work, but on the seventh day you must rest. And the question that's asked is, work is natural. Resting is counterintuitive. So obviously the Jewish people had to be commanded to keep Shabbos, to take a break from working. But working for 6 days, that's, the Jewish people had to be told about that. And I came across a beautiful explanation that I want to share with you. And that is that the concept of 6 days you can work is not a preface to Shabbos, but it's actually a continuation of Vayakhel, of Moshe gathering the Jewish people. Let me explain. When Moshe gathers the entire Jewish people, it symbolizes the idea of harmony, of unity, right? That's the idea of gathering people together. And we see this by the fact that Moshe didn't just gather the scholars or the leaders of the tribes, etc. He gathered the entire Jewish people, men, women, and children. And then he gave them this mitzvah. So when he then follows up this gathering by saying, for 6 days you can work, that's a continuation. What he's telling them is that what often happens is that on Shabbos, we are nice, we are relaxed, we are more accommodating of people. But during the work week, when we live in a competitive world, when we go into business, when we're dealing with colleagues, when we're looking out for ourselves, we're very suspicious of anyone undercutting us. We get very competitive. And we can tear people down. We can become no more Mr. Nice Guy. That's what happens. And we see this in the world around us, right? There are people that we know that seem like the nicest people. We know them, we're friends with them, etc. But then you see them in a more competitive setting, and suddenly they're like a different person. They're like, they'll do things that shock you. You're like, how competitive are you? But that's human nature. And what the Torah is telling us is that idea of Vayakhel, that spirit of harmony and unity, should carry into the 6 days of work. That don't reserve that only for Shabbos. Don't reserve that only for a day of relaxing when there's no competitiveness. No, even during the work week when things are hectic and when we're looking out for ourselves, don't let it take hold of you to such an extent where you lose that sense of Vayakhel, that sense of togetherness. When somebody calls you and they ask you for, the number of the contractor that did work for you or the number of your babysitter or whatever, the common thought is to be like, how am I going to lose out on this? We get worried. What if that person's not available? Then when I need them because I gave them to my friend, if I share a business contact, what if I'm going to lose out in some way? It's a very normal thought, but that doesn't mean it's an appropriate thought. The Torah is telling us, even though those are normal thoughts to have, to be worried. We can be so nice to each other, but then when it comes to sharing something that we feel we might lose out on, I can't give you that number. I don't know. I can't share that. I want to keep them for myself. The Torah is telling us, don't lose the spirit of Vayakhel, even in settings which are more competitive, which we get nervous and we get paranoid that we're going to lose out on. Remember, everything comes from God. God runs the world. Vayakhel, we are one people, one family, even during the work week. Shabbat Shalom.